Hey guys, welcome to my channel Hammond's Hobbies. My name's Glenn and today we're going to have a very slightly different tone to the video because we're going to be discussing how the F1 card community all came together over the course of a week and raised some serious figures for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So let's get right into it. So before I actually discuss how this all came about and how much we raised, I'm actually going to show you this small clip from the Make-A-Wish Foundation, especially the UK team. They actually reached out to me over on Twitter and I actually got this from their social media platforms. So we're going to watch this clip. Please stay through to the end. It would really mean a lot to me if you guys can watch this video through to the end. I'll try and make it as quick as possible. But let's watch the clip from the Make-A-Wish Foundation team.
Right now, over 60,000 children in the UK are living with a critical condition. When a child is diagnosed, the joy and innocence of childhood comes to an end. A wish has the power to revive a stolen childhood, bringing light into the lives of children and their loved ones. But we can't be that light for everyone. Together, we have the power to light up the darkness. Donate now and make a wish come true.
So as you can see, quite an impactful video there. Obviously has a very dark, serious tone to it, but also a positive message of trying to make terminally ill children's dreams come true before obviously something more serious happens to them. So as you can imagine, obviously I'm a father of 5 children myself, so it really struck home with me personally. I know some of you may have children watching this video, some of you may not, but you can imagine that if anything like that happened to my children, I would love for someone to come along and make their day. So I don't know, it just really plucked at my heartstrings. So how we came about doing this donation charity was actually because of the person who donated some cards to me. I say donation, he reached out to me and he's asked me to not share his name on social media, so I'll obviously honor that, but he reached out to me and said that, Glenn, I would love for you to sell some of my spares and duplicate cards that I've got lying around. Now, I went and actually visited this person, and when I got there, I realized, wow, he's got some really cool cards like Sapphire 2020, Chrome 2020, Refractors, Parallels, Autographs. There was a lot there to unpack. And I was like, this is like thousands of pounds worth of cards. And he said, well, I've listed them all on eBay and I've had nothing from it. And they're just sitting there gathering dust. I'd rather you take them away. He then said to me, and he was quite adamant, that he said that he wanted it to be a 50-50 venture. So meaning that whatever they sell for, he gets 50%, I get 50%. I felt uncomfortable with that because I felt like that was too large an amount. So obviously we were negotiating, and but the opposite way, I was trying to say I don't want as much money. I was only going to, normally with these sort of sales, I typically ask for 20%. So I was going down that route, but he was quite adamant. So I said, look, why don't we come to this compromise? I said, why don't I'll sell the cards and raise the figures that you're hoping to achieve. Hopefully we can hit those. And then if we hit those, I'll take the other half, but with my half, I will donate a large proportion of it to charity. Technically, that means we're going halves on the donation as well. He said to me, the only charity that I support is the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Isn't that something about Disney or something, or WWE? That's the only times I've ever heard of it. So that's when I went home and actually did a bit of research. And then I realized what an amazing charity this was. So I spent a few days sorting all the cards out, top loading them, sleeving them all because they were all just raw. We then obviously promoted it. I wanted to give a few days promotion, so I promoted the videos on all of my social medias that I was going to be doing this huge single sale. Now, a lot of the F1 collectible card community got involved in it, and a lot of people jumped in and bought some amazing cards at, I would say, some cheap prices. So that means that the people taking part that were actually giving their money, they were winning because they were getting cards that they would have bought probably anyway. Some of them were buying more cards than they normally would because of the charity donation, and some of them were bidding up, so they were going for more money than they normally would, probably in a whatnot sale. But again, there was some real bargains to be had there. A lot of the cards sold for £1, £2, £3. And a lot of people in the chat tried to get me to commit to, Glenn, how much are you donating to charity? Like, what percentage? Now, a lot of my community that watches my streams trust me, and I've built that up over years. So I just said to everyone, don't worry, I'll give a donation. Some people were a bit more like, no, I need to know before I bid how much percentage. I found it very difficult to actually nail that down and answer it. I've never done anything like this before, so I'm new to this. So, and the way that Whatnot works is they take a certain percentage of every single sale, plus a payment processing fee. So if you imagine if one card sells for £1, well, they take 30p for the payment processing, plus about 10 to 12% for the selling fee. Well, that means that out of that £1, I'm losing 42p-ish, which is 42%. But if a card sells for £2, you're only losing 15%, 20%. If you sell a card for £3, it typically works out to be about 10 to 11%. But I don't know what every single card is going to sell for as I'm going through the live stream. So I wasn't sure what percentage. I was thinking, like, oh, if every single one of these cards sell for £1, I'm going to be losing 40, 50%. And then I've got to give him some money, and then if I'm left with anything, then I'm going to donate. So I just couldn't knuckle down like a percentage. So I just said to everyone, I kept using the phrase, a proportion of this sale will be donated to charity. A lot of people asked me about the figures. They said, Glenn, how much have you raised? How much are you going to donate? And when are you going to do the donation? I actually spoke to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the UK team. They reached out to me on my social medias. I think they saw some of the videos and they applauded me for doing something like this. But I didn't want to make it about me. I wanted to make it about the F1 card community. You guys, the people that bought. I wasn't buying the cards. You guys were buying the cards. But this is how I sort of molded it, or how I worked it, so that everyone came out of this happy, in my opinion. Let's get into the figures and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, beautiful background we've got here of some builds. So let's bring up the spreadsheet. So this is a spreadsheet that I was keeping up to date as I went along. Obviously, I've had to change bits as things happen, like the fees coming out. They come out after you've sent the postage out, plus then obviously you'll see at the end Whatnot made a donation as well, but I'll talk you guys through it. So we did obviously different sales, including with this gentleman's cards that he kindly gave us as a consignment sale. And you can see here these are the figures of what we raised from the different sales, and it was £4,000, which is unbelievable. I never thought we'd actually raise that much. So yeah, well done to everyone who took part in all of those Whatnot streams. Then obviously you've got the Whatnot selling fees. So these are the fees that they take out. Now, like I said to you, some of the cards sold for £1, so their percentage would be, you know, 30-40% in theory. Some of them sold for 20, 30, 40 pounds, so then their percentages would be about 10-11%. So I always work it out to be about 12%. I think that's a fair average. So you can see here, these are the fees that they would have deducted. Then I put some money aside, obviously, for I had to top load every single hit, as well as obviously team bag everything, and then obviously put them in envelopes, and then post them out, print the labels, yada yada yada. So I'll put a small fee aside for postage and packaging. Then we've got the fees, what it is after the total after all the fees, and then At the right hand side here, you'll see that obviously these figures are the same because that was our 50-50 cut. So this was the person who owned the cards, his consignment sale. So he ended up with 1,700. So he was hoping to get 1,500 to 2 grand. We smack bang in the middle. He got exactly what he wanted. So he was over the moon. He said that he had all of these cards on eBay for ages and he never actually managed to shift it, hardly any of them. So now obviously he's just gained £1,700 within about a week for doing nothing. Nothing. I did all the sorting, organizing, top loading, sleeving, postage, obviously did the sale, so he did nothing apart from obviously handing me over the product. Obviously, and then there's my cut there, which again, I normally I wouldn't do 50%, but obviously this was slightly different, this one, because we're doing a donation charity sale. So as you can see here, what I've done is I've taken my fee, what I got from my 50%. So the owner of the cards, he got his 1,700 out of my half. I donated 50% of all the money that I took to charity. That means in theory I got my usual 20-25%. Actually, it works out if you work it out that way from the sale. And then I actually reached out to Whatnot and asked them if they would actually donate, because I knew going into the sales that I reckon we're going to raise a couple of £1,000. Obviously Whatnot are going to take some fees for that and they're going to earn a profit. So I said to Whatnot, look, would you make a donation? So that was, I was in talks with them before the sales even went ahead, so I never knew what they were going to sell for. I just had an inkling, and they said, yeah, look, we'll donate £200. So thank you to Whatnot UK, the guys over at Whatnot UK, for making that donation and having that trust in me to do that charity sale. Really do appreciate it, and I'm sure obviously the kids from Make-A-Wish Foundation do as well. So then that means that with my donation and obviously the Whatnot's donation, the total raised was £1,055 and 26p. So big well done to everyone that took part in those sales. I was saying during the streams that, you know, I was hoping to raise £1,000 to £1,200. We pretty much hit that. We just did over the £1,000 mark. So big well done to everybody that took part, that bought cards. Now, so the link in the description of this video down below will take you to this page. Obviously, if you're from a different country, it will probably redirect you to the Make-A-Wish Foundation in your region, so just bear that in mind. You can also set up a donation for £3 a month if you text 70111. But we're going to make a large donation now. We're going to donate the 1,050. This is the young man that obviously got to be a Ghostbusters for the day that they just recently organised. That's on their YouTube video. I'll put a clip of that at the end of this video, just to give a little bit of a feel-good factor. So it says here that we can donate either 20, 50 or 80, but we're going to do way more than that. We are going to be donating £1,055. Let's go next. So we've made our donation with Make-A-Wish Foundation. They've also sent us this email saying thank you Glenn, for supporting Make-A-Wish Foundation UK and helping us make wishes come true. Your wonderful donation of £1,055 will ensure that the wishes can be granted for more children like Harry. At just 2 years old, Harry was diagnosed with leukemia. Harry loves dinosaurs and mythical creatures, so now age 7 and in remission, we granted his wish and took him to the adventure aboard Skipper Mike's boat to find the Loch Ness monster. So as well as that, obviously that's the email that they've made us. I've also, as you can imagine, I'm trying to share as much information as possible, but without compromising my own security for data protection. But I've taken a screenshot of the PayPal transaction, so you can see there through PayPal on my debit card we paid £1,055 to Make-A-Wish Foundation. There's the transaction ID number if anybody wants to verify the payment going through, and it says there Make-A-Wish Foundation UK info at Make-A-Wish. So huge thank you to every single person that got involved in that sale, the person who donated the cards, the people that joined in and raised the £4,000 in the sale in the first place, Whatnot for donating some of their fees to this sale as well, and obviously everyone in the Facebook group F1 Sports Cards, as well as obviously everyone that joined in on my whatnot under the Hammond's Hobbies page. There's normally a good regular 30-40 people that take part, so well done to all of those for actually showing up and actually raising that amount of money for charity. So big well done to everyone. So that's it from me, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that content, and thank you to everyone that's raised money. I really do appreciate all of you. I really had fun doing this, actually. So I actually enjoyed myself. We raised some money. We got the man who gave us the cards, the figure that he wanted to get for him. So all round a winner for everyone. So big thank you to everyone that took part in this. I'm going to leave you now with a bit more of a positive story from the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and that is the story of George, who has to have regular heart operations because his heart doesn't work properly. But one of his wishes was to be a Ghostbuster for a day, and I'm sure many of you, if you're like me, that just touches as a kid, being a almost 40-year-old man. That was my childhood as well. I wanted to be a Ghostbuster. So hope you enjoyed this clip, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.
Improve the function of the half of the heart that works and to raise his oxygen levels. He's doing really, really well at the moment, but there will be more surgical interventions, and potentially we're looking at a transplant further down the road with him.
Okay, there's signs up there, right next to that picture up there.
He's a lovely, kind, friendly guy, and when you speak to him about his sort of hopes and ambitions, a lot of it is helping other people. It does affect him. Aspects of life he finds harder than other kids his age. He's a lovely personality, and he'd much rather see the fun side of things than the serious side.
Some hand marks right there.
Some hand marks?
Yeah.
Human or spiritual?
Spiritual.
Spiritual, okay, well.
That's why I had to put the ghost goggles down.
Okay, let's go. Good job, George.
Yeah. We've got one.
Yeah. Get in there, George. Put him in there.
George has been absolutely amazing. He's saved Leeds. We didn't want Marshmallow Man to come and take Town Hall down, and George has nipped it in bud.
George, as a Ghostbuster, is fantastic. You know, he may have troubles with his heart, but he's definitely strong of heart. For anyone who's thinking about wanting to get involved with Make-A-Wish, make wishes happen for other kids, I 100% would implore you to do that, because it's something that, you know, I'll personally remember for the rest of my life.
Thank you to the East Midlands Ghostbusters, all the police officers that helped, I don't know, just everybody that helped make my wish come true.